Hey guys, how are you? Good afternoon. What's going on? You know what? I didn't do something important before I went live. Hold on, let me just check something. Um, okay, just a second. Um, ay ay ay. um, maybe I did do it. Let me see. I didn't pull up my other monitor, so give me just one second. Hey everybody, I think I saw pineapples. I saw Shonda. Hey India. India was first one in here. Hey Tam. Hey Amalia. How are you ladies? What's going on? Let me pull up my monitor because that way it like helps me. I'm just kind of that's just the way I've always done it. And I'm so what is it? I just have to have things a certain way. I'm kind of anal about certain things, and that's one of them because it makes me feel like, okay, now I know what's going on. Okay. I think I set this live up yesterday, so I think I'd already done it. Um, I don't know if I'd made this subscriber only. Um, but if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe if you don't mind. It is on subscriber only. Very good. Okay, I already did that yesterday. I think I set this live up yesterday, so my bad. And I apologize. Just, guys, sis has a lot going on, just with everything. So just excuse this, okay? Anyway, hey Verena, how are you? Hey Bama girl, hey Life of Leisure. So yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. I know you guys want to talk about escape, so I do have a little bit of an escape update. I do have a Black China update. I don't know why Marcus Houston keeps coming up, but I it's interesting. The older man, younger woman. I know we see older woman, younger man kind of thing. And I think maybe some of the same things apply. It would be interesting to know what the professionals or what the psychology is, what they say. Is there a lot of similarities or whatever? But I do have some information on that if we get time for it. But I also wanted to talk about, and I know that some people were talking about this yesterday, but it really didn't cross my radar because the name did not jump out at me. But one of the sisses, um, Neo Tarot, was doing a tarot reading on this gentleman, and I was like, "Who is that?" I didn't even think about it. It didn't cross. Like I was like, I didn't know who it was. I'm gonna be honest. But yesterday it was reported, but I guess it happened way early in the early morning, that Bill Lee was unfortunately the victim of a stabbing incident. To me, they're probably not talking a lot because either they have a lot of evidence or whatever they have, they want to keep it close because they want to make sure that they get the assailant. But who is Bill Lee? You're asking. Bill Lee is, if you use Cash App, um, he was a chief product manager or chief product officer, excuse me, of what used to be called Square. Now, most recently, the chief product officer at MobileCoin, which I believe was Square and something else. But this guy is the innovator. This is the person in the product development department when they are sitting around and creating, like, how can we serve our customers better, or what's what's the need out here, how can people transfer money easily, no questions asked, digitally, or like whatever PayPal's doing, it got cumbersome. Let's do it quicker and easier because PayPal's been around for 20 years, but how can we perfect PayPal, which that was pretty genius for them to be able to make it better, swifter, faster. Bob Lee was the innovator of Cash App. Okay. And he was brutally murdered early Wednesday morning. So we don't really know the story. Like, I read the story on two different newspaper sites. I read on the New York Times and a paper in San Francisco and watched the news story. And it's very skinny on details, which tells me from watching a lot of true crime and just watching the news that sometimes they don't want to tip people off that they know exactly who they are. Who doesn't have ring cameras, street cameras, all kinds of stuff. So I'm not sure where the gentleman was and how this whole thing happened. But basically, what they're saying is that there was some sort of altercation on the streets. I'm going to pull up his picture on the streets. And unfortunately, this nice looking guy, I think he was in his early 40s, maybe he's 41, 42 years old, out and about, minding his business, doing what eligible men in their 40s do. I mean, I guess, it was a work night or whatever. Maybe, I don't know if he was out enjoying himself, coming from a liaison, whatever. But they said tech executive and investor who was instrumental in creating the mobile payment service Cash App was fatally stabbed on the street in San Francisco on Tuesday, according to his family. The San Francisco Police Department said it responded to a call about a stabbing in the Rincon Hill neighborhood at 2:35 a.m. So he must have been out, having a good time, maybe a date, who knows. The police did not initially identify the victim, a 43-year-old man with apparent stab wounds who died at the hospital. But WPIX, a local CBS affiliate, reported that friends of Mr. Lee said that he was a victim, which was confirmed Wednesday morning on Facebook by his father, Rick Lee of Miami, as well as public officials. The San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins said on Twitter that no arrests have been made in the case as of Wednesday morning. Well, I mean, they had just had just happened. So maybe it was. We don't know. We do not tolerate these horrific acts of violence in San Francisco, especially on rich tech company executives. I mean, really on anybody, absolutely. But this is not a good thing. Um, anyway, that's crazy, right? So if you are doing a Cash App transaction today, RIP to Mr. Bob Lee, who is gone far too soon. And 43 years old. There is no reason why a 43-year-old should be dead on the streets of a stab wound. Chief product officer at MobileCoin um, died of fatal stabbing in San Francisco this week. This is awful news. So, I mean, but honestly, the way things go these days, um I would not be surprised if they know, what I mean, they're not going to tell us everything. And everybody has cameras outside. You go down the street, you better know that you're being caught on a camera. You got to know. And you're stupid if you don't. If you don't get caught on a camera, you are lucky. It just wasn't meant to be. But with the amount of cameras, the residential cameras, and then also the municipality may have cameras probing in neighborhoods. Whatever happened, I'm sure that something has been identified that can help them with this case, whether the man was targeted or this happens to be just some sort of random situation. I was reading online yesterday. The guy was he from The Wire? The one who got some bad heroin. They made an arrest in his death. Basically, they had the picture of him on the streets going to pick up his last dose from his dealer, and they just arrested the guy. Um, I can't think of who it was, but I'll find the article. I just happened to click on it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't realize that he had a drug problem, but apparently he had, and his drugs had been laced with fentanyl. But wherever he'd been that day, it was on camera. It was legit on camera. So I don't know if that was on a residential camera and someone happened to catch it and brought it forward to the police, but it's unfortunate. I feel sorry for this guy, and it's a product that I know I use. I know on the YouTube streets, I mean, Cash App is like the currency of choice. PayPal is kind of like old school. Um, but I think that PayPal is probably like the mother of Cash App, right? And it's sad that a guy 43 years old, I'm sure he had deep pockets. I don't know if he had, they don't say anything about a wife, kids, anything. He might have been busy in his career, busy getting successful. And unfortunately, he is gone. And yeah, the statement was from his parents. So I would say a 43-year-old man, the statement is from the parents. Um, yes, Michael, I read the article yesterday and I can't even think of it because I'm going to be honest, I didn't really watch that show very much, but I knew exactly who he was. I was like, that's awful. Um, but yeah, awful, awful, awful. So, yeah. Isn't that terrible on the streets of San Francisco? And we know San Francisco is a big city, but I guess what they're saying is it's very safe. And I think maybe they said all in all 55 homicides last year, or maybe in 2020, 2021. But 2020 is kind of an anomaly year because it was the height of the pandemic. Nobody's been going out. 2021 kind of also, people have been very careful. So now people are like legit outside, and people are going to show up and show out outside on these streets. So it's really unfortunate. So I guess honestly, just be safe, because we don't know if this was random or targeted or what. But I feel like, because they're not talking about anything. They're not mentioning anything. Michael K. Williams, thank you. Rest in peace. Sir, if you look up his name now, let me see if I can find it. He They have it on video. Okay. Let me see if I can pull it up. Michael K. Williams arrest. Let's see. They have it. Girl, it looks like girl, they got it on the Department of Justice, okay? Um, a prominent actor, a producer tragically overdosed. But that's not the latest update from yesterday. 4 charged in the overdose death of Michael K. Williams. Um, Let me see. Girl, Southern District of New York, Damian Williams. Do, 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 do. Girl, they got everybody's name. That's the guy, Carlito. Um, but they have a picture. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Girl, this is on the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, United States Department of Justice. So this is on the DOJ's website. Anyway, they're going into some detail. I'll drop this in the chat so you guys can pull this up if you want to. Let me drop it now so I don't forget. You got to see these hidden camera, like, and it's not even hidden camera. These just might be the cameras outside somebody's house. You never know. Or Granny could have been in there, opping for the police. I have no idea. But you see, they got everybody's names and their aliases. Oreja, Mastro, Carlito, damn, Green Eyes, Irvin Cartagena, otherwise known as Green Eyes. I mean, they got everybody's name on here, and they caught those pictures. Hold on a second. Let me go back so you guys can see better. Look at this. Y'all, whoever did in Bill, uh, I'm sure there, you know what I'm saying? There's cameras everywhere, y'all. Okay. And also, furthermore, what we do know is that, and I'll drop the article for Bill Lee in the New York Times. Let me drop that too for you guys in case any of you guys want to do some light reading and hear a little bit more about what happened. Um, you guys know in the murder in of the 4 college students, they got Brian coming and going. Okay. They got him coming into the neighborhood. They got him going into the neighborhood. They got him on GPS. They had, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that we don't do these days that is not tracked some type of way, either by our telephones, by the GPS in our vehicles, by other people's cameras, all of these things. And by the time when those 4 students were murdered, by the time they were putting out the call asking for the 2014 Hyundai, they already knew what it was. Okay. They already were on their way to New York to go and get him over to his parents' house. He was stabbed to death. Yes, Bob Lee. But a lot of what they were able to find is that they were studying the videos of the people in the neighborhood. They had video surveillance. So they had pulled all of that. They had from everywhere. You know what I mean? I guess, because also this neighborhood was a one way in, one way out. So you have to like turn around in the cul-de-sac to get out. So yeah, all different kinds of things, guys. But that's just kind of an aside. But really, unfortunately, this gentleman passed away. His name is Billy, and he is one of the innovators of the amazing app that is used far too much, or maybe far not enough, on the YouTube streets and everywhere else. People love Cash App, okay? And thankfully, this guy came and he delivered a product to the world that is heavily used, and he will definitely be remembered. It's very sad that he lost his life. We don't know any of the details, but I think sometimes when are little to release details, they probably know a lot, but they don't want to let the public know, because all of the like junior sleuths out there on the internet love to try to figure shit out, and they don't need anybody tripping and falling over their investigation. So, yeah, they're not going to put anything out. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we don't know. I'm sure we're going to find out, though. Yeah, I don't. We're going to find out. But yeah, I just dropped 2 links. One of the links was the Michael K. How did I forget his name that quick? Is it Michael K. Thompson? For the investigation and subsequent apprehension of the offenders who laced his Michael K. Williams, excuse me, who laced his drugs, and those on the street photos are right there. And then also the article on Bob Lee, who was stabbed to death this week. Yeah. Anyway, guys, let's get over to a Black China update. I know we've been following Black China. Well, before we do that, let's listen to Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri showed up on a radio show this week, and they asked him about what was going on with Candy and Latasha and everything with Escape. And he was kind of like, I'm not really following that. In my Candy voice. You know, Candy's like, I don't really know anything about that. Um, Candy cracks me up. I know I say she's my least favorite. I don't dislike Candy, just in case anybody wants to know. I don't dislike Candy. She's just, I say it like this all the time. She's my least favorite. Um, her and Kenya. I don't know. Now, there was a video the other day with Portia and Shamia over at something that Candy had going on. Now, I mean, okay, I guess I'm not gonna be happy till Phaedra comes back. Because I love Phaedra. Phaedra is so funny to me. Girl, let me tell you something. As soon as FedEx passes by the house, Portia is not happy. Okay. But I I'll check in on Candy Coat at night sometimes. I watch Candy's content. You know what I mean? Like, I don't dislike her. I feel like when you are in opposition of something or someone, people just automatically assume like you don't like them or there's some sort of beef or there's something. Just not my fave. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, you know what I mean? It's not that serious. Um, She's just not my favorite. Now, does she bring the drama? Yes, because the scenes for this season look like it's going to be drama filled on Real Housewives. So I don't know how it's going to go. I might give it a chance. And I know last season I started covering Real Housewives over here, and it just fizzled out after Sheree was over there on the streets waiting for her boyfriend. Um, I was like, I was done. It was getting really bad. And last season, or maybe was it last season with Candy and the play? And it was like damn near 4 episodes. And they were trying to play up a situation where Todd still had an apartment in Jersey that he had with an ex-girlfriend. And they were trying to play that up like it was something, but it wasn't anything. It was like legit just an apartment. And I'm going to be honest, Candy doesn't really seem like she cares very much. I'm not saying she doesn't care about her husband, but Candy's so busy and has what, 3 kids, but 4 basically. They got his and hers and they've got theirs. So she's got Riley, he's got his daughter, I forget her name, and then they've got the 2 littles. So they got 4 kids and a career and multiple shows and lots of businesses. If Todd can't be trusted, then Todd's going to have to worry about that for himself. I can't imagine that you got to keep an eye on a whole grown man. You know what I'm saying? So when they were trying to play up that Todd had some apartment in Jersey, like, and she was kind of like she didn't really care, I guess the fact that I think her thing was more so like, why are you holding on to this? And I guess he felt like it was someplace that they can go. Is it Kayla? Um, who kind of looks just like the grandmother and Todd. Um, it's funny, but yeah, it was kind of like, girl, yeah, that's the spelling. I think the spelling was a little bit different. Yeah. Cute girls, Riley is looking like she looks just like Candy to me. She looks like a taller version of Candy. Um, she's a pretty girl. She really is. You know how, I mean, for most of us moms, we feel like our kids are a better version of us. No offense. Again, I don't dislike Candy. I just think that Riley is tall. She's very pretty, and quite privileged. She's got rich mom, and sis is doing it. She's very cute, and Miss Kayla, Todd's daughter, she always seems to have a smile on her face. So, and then the little kids are super cute. Ace and Blaze, right? So, I mean, I keep up with Candy. But let's listen to Jermaine Dupri. I feel like some of this escape stuff has fizzled a little bit, but I'm going to really stand on what I said about what's going on with Escape. I'm going to be honest. I feel like everything going on with Escape was for them to have a sold out shows and for that series to end with a bang, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? I think they wanted to make sure that they went out with a bang and that they get renewed for another season. And maybe Latasha didn't plan to go anyway, because just like Jermaine Dupri said, which you'll hear in a minute, when we did an Escape reunion the first time, only Tamika and Latasha showed up. Tamika and Tiny didn't even show up. So now I'm supposed to be like, you know what I'm saying? And now they have kind of gotten themselves into this reality show world. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really even keeping up with that. I'm paraphrasing, but you'll hear what he has to say. You know what I'm saying? So until they say Latasha has signed off and she is no longer in the group, just because she is choosing to not work and show up for an event, I don't know if that kicks her out of the group or not. You know what I'm saying? So they have the 3 on here, but Latasha's still there. They haven't taken her off, off the Instagram, Okay. So, they're still posting, and maybe they are whittling down a little bit, but sis is right there. Okay. You know what I mean? So, girl, let's see what they posted on Instagram today. I saw that. Did you guys see them on Jennifer Hudson? This guy says he thinks he can fill Latasha's spot.
You're contemplating on the right thing to
Stop it, sir.
decide. Will I make the wrong direction?
Oh my God. He was playing with everybody, right?
As I stand here contemplating on the right
like,
thing to decide.
Okay, sir. I guess they thought that was cute. Okay. So let's listen to a little bit of Jermaine Dupri and what he had to say. But I think the momentum is gone. I feel like last week was last week, and it was the second to the last episode. And I don't know when they filmed this, but they all ended up over there on the Jennifer Hudson show. And is Jennifer Hudson not singing anymore? Girl, I don't even watch that. I'm going to be honest. I don't even watch Sherry Shepherd. Okay. Tamika can play with that mirror all she wants. Tamika, we know you are thick girl, and maybe she has lost some weight. She's a pretty woman, and I'm not discounting it, but everybody can play with a mirror. Okay. Come on now. All right, I'm going to fast forward. I will drop the link to this video in the chat. Let me get it so you guys can have it if you want to listen to it. I don't want to do too much, and I don't want to do too much yet, but I will share the link to this interview if you want to hear the whole thing, because the first part of this interview, I'm not interested in. It's this half that goes into Escape. Let me see. I should just pull it up on my computer. Hold on. Okay, okay. So the first part of this interview was something about Jermaine Dupri talking about 106 in Park, and I think that he had planned some sort of 106 in Park type show back in the day. And he's like, my results speak for themselves. Like, I don't have to cap. Basically, that was the first part of this interview. Basically, like Bow Wow or somebody said, or not Bow Wow, Tigger. I'm not sure. What was it? Tigger? Who was it? Whoever the executive was, I guess some guy named Stephen Hill, just basically recalls that, no, that wasn't it. But he says, yeah, it was. But he's like, I'm not going to argue with it, because he's like, I've got a proven track record in the industry. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the hit maker, basically. And I did have an idea for a show. And if people what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to sit and debate it. He's like, it's just a fact. Anyway, okay, let me, so we're going to go into the second part of the interview when they talk about what's going on with Escape. And he seems to be not really bothered.
At the New Edition concert, actually, I was like, so what's the name? So now that we know it's a boy, okay, what's his name? Yes, so I love it. It's still not decided. Had Escape in here the other day, and then we had Latasha here as well. I know you know all the drama that's been going on with them from their show Queens of R&B. They've been going back and forth about a lot of stuff. One thing, they brought your name up and was saying that you were responsible for not releasing Latasha's album. So he said, well, why don't you ask JD about it? Did she ever ask you about that? No. What are your thoughts? Like, what happened? They know what asked me nothing. Because Tasha blamed Candy for it, and
Did he say they know not to ask me nothing? Did you hear that? JD said they know not to ask me nothing. Okay.
You were responsible for not releasing Latasha's album. So he said, well, why don't you ask JD about it? Did she ever ask you about that? No. What are your thoughts on that? What happened? They know what to ask me. What would have been your answer? Because Tasha blamed Candy for it, and it was said you and Candy was dating at the time, and she was like, "I ain't finna stop your music from coming out. Talk to JD about it." Yeah, I don't know. I don't actually. I was thinking about this because I saw it, and I was like, I don't actually remember. Really, I don't. But you wouldn't have given Candy that kind of power to stop another artist on your label's record, right? You said what now? You wouldn't have allowed Candy to stop Tasha's. That's what I'm saying. So that was the allegation. That was nobody can. No, it don't have nothing to do with it. I don't. Like I said, I don't actually remember what actually happened. In the process of Tasha's project, but I do know that it was moving forward. When I did Bounce With Me, Tasha, that's actually Tasha singing by herself on that song. And so me and Tasha was in the studio at that time. I don't remember. I don't remember what was actually happening. There was a lot going on at the time. Cause like I think if and it's so crazy because Nelly was in the studio with me last night. We was talking about these egos, and he's like, JD, that's your job. That's what you do. You deal with all the egos. You know how to do it very well. Because if you remember, like, when I did So Def 20th anniversary, it was only 2 girls that came on stage and performed as Escape at the 20th. Wow. Right? So it's and at that time it was Tasha and her sister. And Tamika and Candy didn't show up. So it's like, I don't pay no attention to this either. I just it's okay. It is.
He said Tasha and her sister, so Tasha and Tamika. And when he says the Tamika and Candy, he means Tiny and Candy. Okay. But it's so funny how he says Tasha and her sister. He didn't even give Tamika a name. Anyway, okay. Let me keep going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, girl, this drama is making them money. Okay. And anytime people are downloading, buying, at the end of the day, Jermaine is still getting checks. So they're going to get their money. He's going to get his, and he doesn't seem to care. Like, this is so old. I mean, it's old.
At the 20th. Wow. Right? So it's and at that time it was Tasha and her sister. And Tamika and Candy didn't show up. So it's like, I don't pay no attention to this either. I just it's okay. It is what y'all I love it. I actually like it more or less than anything. I know everybody probably like, this guy's wild. But the fact that you guys are talking to these girls in 2023, and I signed them in 92, and they're like at the top of the conversation on every blog, on TV, radio. It's a that's a real. I feel like something that says something about the talent that they are. That people really still care about them. You know what I mean? Enough for you to even be asking me about them. It's like that's the first group I ever signed, and for them to still be. They probably more popular now than they were when when I first signed them. So I feel like we in that world where if Candy's been a housewife since the duration, right? Since it first started, right? So she's basically part of that world, and they have basically gone into that world. So I think it's almost like what you was just saying, Tigger, about like me going into different sectors of life. I feel like they have evolved from this early 90s girl group to a talked about girl group in the 2000s, and then they're continuing to keep it going. So I feel like hopefully they all understand we only get one life, right? We only get one life. So all of this excitement, turn it into something, put an album out.
Okay, he said turn it into something.
Dupree's in the building this morning. He's our guest. 404 a day in the A. Got a new EP out today for motivational use only. We get some motivation.
Okay, so that's the crux of it. I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful, but I think, talking about something that's not really relevant to him. I mean, let's just remember, like, this is not the 90s anymore. We're like in 2023, and I don't even know what his affiliation with Escape is anymore. Are they managing their own situation? Do they even fall up under So Def? Like, is So Def still a thing? Um, you know what I'm saying? So not so much that he forgot the name, but I mean, girl, as age creeps up on us, if you're lucky, right? Sometimes the names just start to escape. You know what I'm saying? Like, no pun intended. The names can escape us. And I mean, he got it right. It's Tasha and her sister. They were the ones who showed up the first time, and it seems like there's always some, I mean, I felt like what he said is that there's always some drama. Now these women they're a singing group. They've been a singing group. They are legendary singing group, but now they're also reality stars. And this is some damn drama. And if you look at these dates, these women have been singing. I mean, these dates have been set up, and it looks like they have been doing some dates for a minute, and like there's just been a problem. I mean, I'm going to assume Latasha is still getting paid. Now, whether she shows up for a concert, is she going to get paid? I do not know. But if she is still part of the group and she wants to show up, I would imagine she can. Who's going to stop her? You know what I'm saying? She's got a contract. She probably has some sort of interest in the group and the franchise. So I would imagine that she can still show up. So I don't know. That's her right there. They posted that on March 8th. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. All of a sudden, because these episodes popped up, and then now sister's asking about $30,000. I mean, I'm just trying to understand, not that $30,000 is not important and money. I just think they picked an amount that would probably get up under most people, most kind of like hardworking Americans, skin, to say, gosh, that's a lot of money. If my sister took my money, um, why has not a check been, like, just the amount of you trying to ruin my reputation over some $30,000 would have made me just be like, look here, okay, cut it. But they have made more than $30,000 off of this mess just by talking about it. Just by talking about it. The $30,000 has been made. I don't know if they were getting booked on every single talk show. They're on talk shows. People are talking about it. We're taking time to talk about it. Because I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't have been talking about Escape if it hadn't kind of just kept crossing my radar. Just because, I mean, really, my familiarity with Candy is really on some Real Housewives. I'm not going to say I was never an Escape fan. There are some Escape songs that are just part of, not only just part of the culture, but just part of my life. Like, there are some songs that, you hear that song, it's like, oh yeah, okay, when I lived in Houston, or, yeah, pretty much the latter part of my college years, right? That's like, okay. But I'm not like I know every song, and I never was really into slow R&B like that. I liked more of I was probably more of a TLC person, and SWV, kind of something like that. So anyway, I'm glad that they're getting this resolved. Look, Latasha needs to handle everything with her sister. Are we going to know what's going to happen? I guess we're going to have to tune into the next season to find out if it gets resolved. These ladies are going to make their money, and as long as people are interested in it, it's a whole nother reality show. You know what I'm saying? They're just following the recipe of what people are interested in listening to and watching, right? Yeah, I mean, what else? What, they weren't going to say somebody tried to talk to Rocky. I mean, even though they did try to slide that one in there that allegedly Candy dated Rocky before Latasha dated him and married him. But it seems like Candy dated a lot of people. Okay. So whether she dated him or not, nobody's really asking about that. But who knows if she dated him or not? Who cares? And maybe that could be where some of this stemmed from. The fact that, she dated him first or whatever. Like, who cares? That woman has been married and held on to that man for almost 30 years, and he's her prize. She loves him, and let her have him. You know what I'm saying? Let her have him, because we know that there's some people out here like they are not giving up on their prize, and she wants that ninja. Okay. Um, all right, let's get caught up on Black China real quick. Black China, we know. I don't know if she's trying to do Baps over here or that was her Halloween costume. What's going on? Oh God, it's so good. Everything I've ever envisioned is finally all happening. I'm so excited to announce that I will be playing Nisi in the role that Halle Berry played in 1997. Um, Opening weekend, Mother's Day. So is she going to be in some plays? Um, but I also heard that they were going to be bringing it back as potentially doing a remake. Baller Alert says they're coming. Okay. Detroit, LA, and Atlanta, guys. So if you're in Detroit, LA or Atlanta, May 11th through 14th, Los Angeles, May 18th through 21st. That's around Mother's Day time, Detroit and Los Angeles. And Atlanta, June 8th through the 11th, Baps, the play. Okay, right there. Cute, very cute and good for her. Nice. Um, They've also on June 17th, 2023, I got my doctorate of liberal arts from Sacramento Theological Seminary. I wonder why she didn't publish that before, because that's going on like 4 months ago. But that recently came out. So good for her. But that happened, I guess, 3 months ago. And then here's
so I feel really good.
To all of the people who were asking about, is her head shaved? We have the answer to that now. So let's listen in.
All right, guys. So I feel really good. My hair is growing back. I shaved it off. Just needed a fresh start. I didn't want all the negative energy on me. And I must say that I feel really good. I feel super calm and what's the word? Grounded. Yeah, grounded. Actually, I feel super free too. So the skin is doing what it needs to do. The fillers are dissolving. I think I might have to go back 2 more times. We'll see. All right, guys. So I feel.
What I couldn't imagine Rocky lying. Yes, I thought she shaved her head. Whether girl Candy just did a speak on it with Tiny and said she did not date or do anything with Rocky. That's Rocky lying. Okay, so good. She's cleared the air on that. Who would I mean, look, it's had to have been over 20, 30 years. If she did, look, she said she didn't, so let's take it from there. Candy says she didn't date Rocky. Had she even dated him, people have to think Latasha been married to him for 28 years. You know what I'm saying? 28 years. Girl, we're talking about a damn lifetime ago. So she said she never dated him. Good. Her record is clean because homie is a troll. He's clearly a troll, right? So at the end of the day, good. He can't say that on her. But Rocky seems like the type of dude that he's going to take whatever he can take and run with it. Okay. Let's go back to this real quick. So, Black China's got her hair company. So this is some of her promo for the hair company. I don't know if anyone has tried it yet or anyone is interested in getting into the hair business. She's got a couple of different things on The website, basically, if you're wanting to purchase retail or if you are wanting to wholesale this hair, Sis has the information for you. So also coming through with the business opportunities. Um, Anyway, interesting, right? I forgot what else you guys asked me to talk about. I know we talked a little bit about Marcus Houston this morning briefly, but I feel like that's a whole topic, older man, younger woman. And I would love for you guys to call in if you have any thoughts on this topic, but I don't know if like we can get jump all the way up into that topic at this moment. But if there's anything that you guys want to put out, I just dropped the link, so you're more than welcome to call in. But I think the older man, younger woman, I mean, we've seen it a lot. We've seen it a lot, and I don't know. I mean, I think people feel some type of way about Marcus Houston and this woman, but at the end of the day, his wife, I think 10, 15 years from now, if they're still married, nobody's going to care anymore. You know what I'm saying? It'll just be that he's 60 and she is 30 something, close to 40, and no one's going to care anymore. You know what I mean? It's going to be like they've been married for 25 years, so, or 23 years, right? Um, let's see. So, yeah, but I think we could probably talk about that. I want to get a little bit more information, but I did pull up like a interesting article about kind of the phenomenon of older man, younger woman, and I was kind of curious, like, is it the same for a older woman, younger man? But some of the obvious reasons, I guess, behind the psychology of why this seems to happen, and does it work? Does it not work? I guess that's debatable. I know Doris. Let's see. Are there two people in the chat that actually know each other off the internet? Did you go to Chapel Hill Missionary Baptist Church? Are you guys in North Carolina? No, Greater Grace and Citadel. Look at Bougie Gang making connections in the chat. What I couldn't imagine was what I couldn't imagine Rocky lying. Yeah, he's probably, you know what I'm saying? Like he gives a certain type of vibe, okay? Oh, Detroit, Michigan. Okay, when I saw Chapel Hill, of course, I immediately made the assumption. So Detroit, if would you guys go to see BAPS? Are you considering, now that you know that Black China is coming to Detroit and the play is going to be um in your city? Is that something? Are you a playgoer, Coco? India, yes. So you see the hair growth is real. If I was there, but I live in Tennessee now. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I think her hair looks really good. It looked healthy and full, and the hairline was all the way intact. Maybe the edges are a little soft, but as she spends, I mean, I don't know, she may not even be giving up the wigs. Who knows? Um, but that happens to everybody. If you wear braids, if you wear wigs, if hairline is sometimes weak. So, but she didn't do it for that reason. My God. She didn't do it for that reason. She did it more so as kind of like a cleanse. So good for her. I mean, if she's happy with doing a big chop, then very good. I did a big chop some time ago. Gosh, it's probably been, I don't know. It could have been, I don't know. It could have been 6, 7 years ago. I can't even remember. I just wasn't happy with the way my hair was doing, and I was like only wearing weave anyway, so it almost didn't matter. I was like, take it down. So, and I'm much happier with the way it's come back. So, um, anyway, guys, I feel like we've gotten caught up. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? If there's anything you guys want to talk about, or I am happy to open the conversation. Otherwise, I feel like that was kind of everything I had on my agenda. I think a sis asked me to watch the Monique special, which I am. I may set up, I don't know what time I'm going to watch it. That's why I hate to do it and offer like a watch party link through Netflix. But because I don't know what time I'm gonna watch it. I could end up watching it super duper late. But I guess if I do, I'll drop it and anybody can join if not. But I'm gonna watch it. One of the sisters asked me to watch it and give my opinion. Why? I'm not really sure. I don't know what the subject matter was. I heard that the Chris Rock one was interesting, where he was talking about kind of almost fake outrage, where people kind of jump on the I can't believe this train, or um just kind of the yeah, the amplified outrage of stuff that either may not be that serious, or seriously, like that's bothering you now, but you did this, that, and the third, almost like the hypocrisy of it all. So I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. But yeah, I haven't even watched the Chris Rock one yet, but it sounds interesting. But I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't know what the subject matter is of Monique's. Has anybody watched it? Fran, did you talk about the man who went to his neighbor's garage over TikTok? I mentioned it yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. I saw on Court TV. Let me see. Court TV had it. Let's see. Let me look on Court TV's YouTube channel. Girl, it was not pretty. Let's see. Court TV. Was it Court TV yesterday? This was yesterday. Let's see if we can. I found it. Let me pull it up. Okay, hold on one second. I don't know if I want to show the video, because I mean the video is not super duper violent, but um I'll drop the link to the video so you guys can watch it on your own. I'm just gonna probably fast forward it. All right, hold on one second. This was bad. I swear to God, it's like you could show some of the most ratchet things, but an actual real life event news story, girl, you almost think a damn investigator's coming to your house to talk to you about why did you post that? Like that's not appropriate or whatever. You know what I mean? So it gets a little dicey. But let's go up to a certain point and then we'll pick up. Okay.
Tensions reached an all-time high back on May 4th, 2020, when a fight broke out between defendant Zach Latham and the Durham family. During that altercation, Latham stabbed his 51-year-old neighbor multiple times, ultimately causing his death. Now he's being tried for the crime of manslaughter. But the question for the jury here is whether or not this homicide was justified. It could potentially be legally justified if the jury finds that Zachary Latham was validly defending himself. Something else interesting about this, the whole incident was captured on camera. We're going to show it to you now. We want to warn you before we play it for you. It is very, very
Trigger
graphic.
warning, trigger
Get the
warning,
kiddos
trigger
out of the
warning.
room, and then we're going to talk about it on the other side.
So I'm gonna let you guys see this part, and then we're gonna fast forward. So look at this. Look at the people pulling up. Look at the people pulling up on bicycles. So this is kind of what I envision sometimes when people on the YouTube streets like pull up, pull up. See, don't tell people to pull up because people might pull up, right? And this is what I'm envisioning of a nightmare pull up. So here comes two kids on a bike, and then here comes somebody with a pickup truck. Okay.
You're not gonna like what's coming out. I promise you. No. No.
Okay.
Back out. Back up. Babe! Get off of my property. Are you gonna jump off my property? You got me? Get off the property. Get off of the property.
Okay, so it really escalates from there. I'm not going to show the whole thing. I'll drop the link. You guys can go watch it. And we'll pick up from the end. Girl.
It's dreadful, isn't it? Let me bring back in my guest and talk more about this. In Magnolia, Texas, legendary homicide detective Phil Waters, and in Chicago, Illinois, criminal defense attorney and the host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Mata II. So we were talking before the break about who filmed this piece of video. And I have to thank our control room for telling me. I was unaware, and I think a lot of our viewing audience may be unaware. It was a defendant's wife who filmed this. And it's also my understanding she's on the state's witness list. She's going to be called by them to talk about filming it. Why? Why was she filming it?
I would love to hear this. So I wonder, okay, we're going to listen to what they say, but I wonder, because I didn't get to see like the affidavit of why the guy was charged for manslaughter, when you can clearly see the man pull up in his pickup truck, come to this guy's house and enter his home, him and his boys enter his home. And now, someone is defending themselves at their own residence, at their own property, and now they're having to answer. Absolutely mysterious. So let's listen to what the experts say. I don't know if he taunted them to come there. Why was the wife already on site in the driveway as the two boys cycled down the street, and her husband is pulling up in his pickup truck? Okay, let's listen.
Prosecution is coming out and saying this Zachary Latham was trying to be a TikTok star, that he's filming his neighbors, he's acting up, disrupting the peace, being socially unacceptable, all of it because he wanted to be TikTok famous. And the more he did it, the more likes he got on TikTok. Now, why his wife was filming it, not so sure. But let's talk about how this could cut both ways for the state and for the defense. Bob Mata, I want to go to you first on this because you brought up the point about the filming. What do you think, please?
I think that it's very interesting in terms of, because look, with self-defense, we're not talking about his intent. They went with manslaughter. It's a heat of the moment type thing. So they decided to go with the lesser charge as opposed to, intentional homicide. So which is easier for them. But in terms of self-defense, they still have to try to get into the mind of Zach Latham, because they need to determine whether or not it was reasonable in his mind to think that this guy or these two guys were actually going to cause serious bodily harm or death. And it had his actions, his response to them had to be reasonable within that mind frame. So then when you factor in this video where we know for a fact that this kid had about 40,000 followers on TikTok, that this was an ongoing saga, that he was continuing to post these videos, it's all part of why these neighbors are over here. It's not just the driving of the cars in front of the house and revving the engines. It's the fact that he's posting everything online. He's invading their privacy in terms of their lives, and he's turning it into a spectacle, which ultimately leads to this. So the question then becomes for me, if I'm the defense, is that a concern for me that the wife is filming the entire time? Because to me, that would indicate, look, Zach said, I need you to film this. This is going down here. They're coming. And then when you're watching this video.
Oh, so Zach's wife. So while we're playing this, I'm reading online. Zachary Latham is 20 years old. He's charged with second-degree manslaughter, aggravated assault, and weapons charges in the death of William Timmy Durham, 51. Latham was emancipated at 16 and enlisted in New Jersey National Guard shortly after his 18th birthday. The New Jersey National Guard confirmed that he separated from the agency in 2020, but further details were not made available. In 2020, Latham was living with his wife, um, Sarah Latham, and his grandparents, and had gained approximately 40,000 followers on social media platform TikTok, and would often post videos to his social media site featuring expensive cars that he owned. The posts Latham uploaded to his social media showed him revving his car engines in front of his home and speeding through the quiet neighborhood. In a recorded exchange that Latham posted to TikTok, Catherine Tiffany Durham, a neighbor, confronted him over speeding on April 6, 2020. Police confirmed that they were called to the neighborhood, but it was unclear whether Durham called the police or whether another neighbor had complained about Latham's car. The video of the confrontation with Durham was Latham's most popular video on TikTok. Oh God. So he's probably got one of these like, my neighbor came and confronted me. So he got 3 million views in days. Latham continued to engage his followers in comments and posts, and prompting some followers to drive up to the neighborhood to harass Latham's neighbors, specifically Durham. Well, that was dumb. Okay. The video and social media posts continued to escalate, with the entire Durham family becoming involved, i.e., I guess the boys driving down the street on their bicycles. But I mean, like, I don't know. I'm sorry. On all accounts, it was bad. But at the end of the day, that man should have never had that. I don't know if those are his kids, his boys on those bicycles. And then go over and enter into someone's home. You're asking for trouble. And he left toe tagged, basically. After the initial video of Tiffany went viral, Latham began having problems with her husband. So after the initial video of Tiffany went viral, so his wife, Mr. Durham's wife, why was she in the, okay, so I thought it was the person who's charged, Zachary Latham's wife, but now it's after the video of Tiffany went viral, Latham began having problems with her husband, William Timmy Durham Sr., and their two sons. William, Billy, 22, and Gage, 17. In one video, Latham blames Billy for the confrontation, saying in the comment posted on TikTok, Karen's sons found out the video went viral and tried taking me out of my car. Police said, so he called their mom Karen, okay? This young man right here, called the man who he ended up offing, called his wife Karen to her two sons, and I guess they lost their shit, okay? I guess people don't like being called a Karen, okay? This is not funny. The video social media posts continued to escalate. Okay, so that was the Karen situation. Karen's sons found out the video went viral and tried. So he was basically taking advantage of a viral video. Let me show you this. He was taking advantage of a viral video. He found the content that his community enjoyed and started to exploit the content and revving up the energy, if you will. Police said that they were told that Billy was upset because his home address has been posted online. Sound familiar, guys? On May 4th, 2020, police said that Latham was driving through the neighborhood when he swerved his car towards Gage, who was on a bike, with the intention of running him down. Tiffany confronted Latham, and Tiffany alleged that she was given a black eye. Who? What? Latham was not charged in the incident. So did it not happen? The entire Durham family allegedly unharmed the entire Durham family, allegedly unarmed, then went to Latham's house to confront him. Detectives said Latham emerged from his house with knives and a stun gun, as Sarah recorded the confrontation with a cell phone. So it was Latham's wife, okay? But I guess at a certain point, the other wife was filming too. Despite Durham's being unarmed, Latham allegedly admitted to detectives that he armed himself with a 4-inch knife and a stun gun from what he perceived to be a mob attack. I mean, if you got 3 people running towards you, running into your house on your property uninvited, yeah. Okay, so the altercation began outside and continued into the garage where Timmy Durham was killed. Prosecutors said that Latham first attacked Billy and missed before stabbing Timmy in the right arm. Latham's wife allegedly begged him to put down the knife. Latham's wife should have begged her husband to not go into that house. They should never have pulled up. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you step into the driveway, it's a problem. You step on the yard, it's a problem. You go up into people's garage, you're in the house. You are in the house. Okay? They should have let the courts handle it. Because this internet stuff, this internet beef gets to be way too much. And it's not even that. It's just neighbors. This has been since the beginning of time, guys. We know, like, the Hatfields and the McCoys. There are people who have had bad blood with neighbors. That's the stuff that all kinds of books and movies have been written about. People having neighbor drama is nothing new, right? Prosecutors said that Latham first attacked Billy and missed before stabbing. He first attacked Billy. Prosecutors said that Latham first attacked Billy. How could it be? I would think that the attack is because these people are already mobbing at your house, and missed before stabbing Timmy in the right arm. Latham's wife allegedly begged him to put the knife down. So Latham, who is the person who was defending himself, I guess you could say, from the attack. Prosecutors said Latham used the stun gun on Timmy and stabbed him multiple times with a fatal wound puncturing his left lung. There were several calls made to 911 from neighbors and from Latham himself. In a frantic 911 call, Latham told the dispatcher that someone assaulted and jumped him. He said that he was badly injured and it was the other victim, but Latham got beat up really bad and I have blood all over me. They came on my property with guns. Okay, that's, what I'm saying. And then when I fought them off, they drove away. My windpipe was crushed and I got stomped and kicked by 10 people. There's blood all over me. This is what he said to the dispatcher. Now, come on. Embellishing is never any good. I believe in open cut. There's blood all over the garage. They came, they had guns, they were going to kill us and attack all of us. Responding officers reported finding Latham and his wife outside their home with 2 friends. Timmy was pronounced dead on the scene at 7:48. Latham was treated at the hospital for a concussion and abrasions before he was taken into custody. Tiffany was charged with simple assault with criminal trespass. So I guess that's Durham's wife. Okay. And the 2 sons were charged with aggravated assault and trespassing. This is a damn shame. Judge Kristen Arregio noted that this is a unique sort of case because the victims in one case are defendants in another, where the victims in that case are defendants in this case. Latham's attorney, Nathan Perry, has said his client acted in self-defense and that the Durham family was trespassing on the property. In an interview to NewJersey.com or NJ.com, Perry said, to a very, very fair extent, that the Durhams visited this great sadness upon themselves. Okay, I'm You know what I mean? That's kind of hard to argue that. Like look, I know that the guy was probably bothersome, but they let him bother them too much. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'll tell you guys a story when we're done. Following his arrest, Latham continued to be active on social media. Prosecutors allege that Latham created a new TikTok account and continued to post about the case. He can do that if he wants to, but I mean, I'm sure his attorney probably told him not to talk about it. A motion was filed in 2021 seeking to revoke Latham's release because of the behavior. But that would get into free speech. So I'm sure they did not do that before, unless they told him to stay off social media. And that was a part of his release. But him expressing himself on social media, I mean, he's got a right to be able to do that. Before the motion could be heard, Latham was arrested in Fort Myers, Florida for allegedly threatening a driver. So maybe Brother Man has a problem and a defiance problem. In a report filed with the Florida Highway Patrol, an officer said that Latham threatened a 17-year-old driver with a pellet gun that resembled an AK-47. So not doing himself any favors, assault rifle after a confrontation in which Latham allegedly tried to ram the victim's vehicle. Okay. Latham was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault in Florida. In response, the Cumberland County Prosecutor Office appealed Latham's pre-trial release. He does sound like he needs to go sit down somewhere, because it seems like he likes to throw rocks and hide his hands, or just throw rocks, period. Cumberland County Prosecutor Jennifer Webb McCrae later dismissed the charges filed against the Durham family at a March 28th, 23 motion hearing. Assistant Prosecutor Charles C.J. Wetstein was unable to explain why the charges were dropped or when the decision was made to do so. Well, maybe in the initial attack, if the father was the primary aggressor and now the father is dead, I mean, what's the point? Prosecuting a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old whose father has been killed, or has died as a result of them. I think, you know what I mean? That might be punishment enough. So let's see. So I guess the trial has started. So yeah, we'll read the trial updates, but let's get back into the story on Court TV and just finish that up so you guys can get the rest of what they're saying on Court TV.
They're screaming and still filming it instead of calling 911. To me, it's inexplicable. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out with the jury, because I just cannot understand why she kept filming. You know, when you see this portion of the video where Mr. Durham, actually, he's got blood all over him. He's still upright. He's still walking. Starts walking out of the garage and then decides to turn back and go back in. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions with the video for me as far as how it's going to interplay with the affirmative defense of self-defense. And we'll see how it plays out, but it's interesting to say the least.
It sure is. I feel like this could.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to look, maybe she needed to have 2 phones. This is the deal. In today's society, if you don't have receipts, it didn't happen. And in today's society, even though it should be quite obvious, this guy is on trial right now and he's defending himself. Somebody basically ran up into his garage. At the end of the day, you never know how this could have turned. And it's like you almost have to have receipts on everything. So if Latham's wife is the one who, I'm unclear as to who was taping, because there's too many, and his wife and that wife. They should have just used the names of the women. But at the end of the day, we know that Timmy is dead, and he was mad. His wife was called Karen, and Latham was basically taunting them. And they fell for the okey doke and came through and wanted to pull up, and they did. And now Pop is gone, which is awful, right? And little homie, Mr. Tough Guy, car guy, is over here and has a case, but clearly he's got some sort of anger issues, or maybe he's got some sort of mental illness. Because again, go back to the first part. He emancipated himself at 16, went to the Coast Guard, not the Coast Guard, the National Guard at 18, and he separated himself with not even finishing his complete his contract with the government for his full term of probably 3 years at least, whatever he enlisted for. So he separated himself from the agency, and there's only a couple of reasons why when you enlist into the service, why you can separate yourself. And maybe he was suffering from some sort of mental illness potentially, and they let him go. Maybe not fired him, but he was able to be released. And it made me think of someone who shared that with us in a Q&A. A popular female YouTuber that a lot of us watch, who said that when she was in the service, she actually got out for a mental excuse. If any of you know who that is, I'm not going to say at this moment, but we'll talk about that another day. Anyway, let's keep going.
Just go either way, because, is she filming just because, she wants to have what she said to the neighbors recorded, who knows? Or is it for a more sinister reason? Is it for this motivation that the state says exists for her husband to be TikTok famous? I want to play a clip before I go to you, Detective Waters, for you to take.
So they're thinking it was a setup to create a fight and let them film it and post it. Possibly. But when he drove up on when he decided to leave his house, got his keys, drive his pickup truck, and the boys pull up and sit on their bikes and waited. To me, if I were the attorney, seeing those boys pull up on their bikes, they were sitting there waiting for daddy to pull up on his pickup truck. They knew what they was getting ready to do. That's a problem right there.
Take a look at this is where Gage Durham, who is the decedent's son, first witness for the state, is talking about why they didn't leave the property when they were asked repeatedly, by the wife, the woman filming, and the defendant to do that.
Whose truck is this?
That's my dad's.
Back out! Back up! You've now been told at least 2 additional times to back up. Yeah. You were just told again to leave the property, right?
Yeah.
And again. You testified on direct. Your dad kind of motioned towards Billy and said, "You got me," right?
Yeah.
And at this time, it was your understanding that Billy was going to be physically confronting Zach.
I could assume.
At your father's direction.
Yeah, that's what
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's were they, what were they more mad about? The TikTok videos, or that he called? See, you should never talk about your neighbors on the internet. I'm just going to say that. I'm sure all of you know that, but you don't ever know. Your neighbors could be watching your social media right now. Okay. Maybe not you, but maybe you or somebody back there in the bushes. Don't talk about your neighbors on Facebook, because people get their feelings hurt very, very, very easily. And people get mad. And at the end of the day, it's people are not always people are not in control of their emotions. And yeah, it's ridiculous. I feel sorry for these people. I think what would have been even a worse outcome is if the father had survived and lost one of his sons, or potentially lost his wife. This man, on his decisions, lost his life by as a grown up. Yeah, maybe you're mad your wife was called Karen and everything, but he could have, I just don't understand how he didn't see that he could be endangering the life of one of his sons. But instead, they have to live with this, the provider of the household. Mom lost her husband. Are y'all selling your house? Are y'all leaving? You know what I'm saying? Like this is bad.
I'm serious.
And is this your father's hand, your father walking alongside? You knew you were not allowed on that property, right?
Yes.
It was a private residence and you were not welcome there.
Yes.
Your father knew that he was not welcome there and he had been asked to leave.
Yes.
Billy knew he was not welcome there and he had been asked to leave.
Yes.
And as you've already testified, Billy was there with your father with the purpose of physically confronting Zach.
Once we arrived, yeah.
At some point, after that footage ended, your brother came up and made sort of a gesture like he was going to be punching just Zach, right?
Yeah.
And it was at that time that Zach swung the knife or taser.
Yeah.
And he did not make contact with your brother.
No.
And at that point, your dad charged Zach and continued far back into the garage.
Yeah.
And you and Billy joined in this physical confrontation.
Yeah, as well as Moses and Dylan.
You threw punches.
Mm-hmm.
You've already testified that you got to verbally respond so that it records, just so you know.
Okay.
So you threw punches.
Yes.
You already testified that you at least on one occasion kicked Zach.
Yes.
You, in fact, even stomped on Zach at some points.
Yes.
Your father at one point had Zach in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Girl, if I was Latham's lawyer, after that, I would be like, okay, I rest. The defense rests. Just because my social media bothers you doesn't mean you get to run into my house and try to kill me. Okay, that's not what that's.
Your father
doesn't
started to
happen.
exit the garage at one point and then turned around and joined back in the attack, right?
Yes, because Billy was in a headlock by Moses.
And still, you didn't leave the property.
No.
I think the Karen defense comes in. Why is Zach being charged with murder, Miss Corey, manslaughter even? Because manslaughter is going to be more like accidental, not planned, right? So I think they feel like he is culpable because he was taunting them on the internet. So because of the taunting, it caused the ass whooping, and the ass whooping resulted in the death, right? So that's the manslaughter. Not so much. That's why. So it's a whole Karen charge, in my opinion, because they are making him responsible because through his social media, it resulted in these people getting in their cars, getting on their bicycles, creating a plan, plotting, trespassing, breaking and entering, burglary, all of the things, all of the like myriad of crimes they committed while entering the home and then having to leave in the coroner's wagon. So, I mean, it's a cautionary tale. Zach, is Zach a little bit mental? Maybe, because he's been in other situations since this occurred and seems to have, but he's also, I'm not going to give him a pass. He's a young man and maybe he's just full of a lot of testosterone. I don't know, but it's going to get him. He may not be so lucky next time. I'm going to put it like that. He's not right for doing anything. But you know, he might, like I said, he's probably caught on the wave of having a 3 million view viral video. He is he's could be just dumb. All of these things. So
Okay, again, that was, of course, from the cross, as we can see. So, you know, not leaving somebody's property when you don't have permission to be on there, that's a trespass. That's minor. This whole thing could have been so minor. Maybe not even made it into the court system. But yet here we are. We have a man dead in a fight in which nobody has won. Let me bring back in my guest, Detective Phil Waters and attorney Bob Mata. Detective Phil, let me pick your brain about this. The fact that the defendant's wife is the one filming this video, definitely part of this, because she is saying no permission here. You don't have permission, leave the property. She's saying it over and over again. But at no point does she stop and call police. What do you think, hearing these facts?
I mean, do you have to look? Who says that's not her fault? If she look, let me tell you something. Something's going down with my husband. I'm not leaving his side. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to take both of us, right? Um, I'm not gonna go run, leave his side. And if I feel like I need to yell to another neighbor, call the police, call the police. Maybe she should have been saying call the police. But if she feels like these people have lied on us before, they've came through before, we've had problems with these people before, then and she feels like she needs to document it, you can't make this woman be wrong for what she did. I don't think. I mean, it's bad enough that someone is that trespassing now seems to be okay because you done got your feelings hurt. That doesn't make it look. I don't think that would pass every state's litmus test. I think there's some states like Florida where it stands your ground. You come to me in a aggressive manner, states where they have stand your ground, yeah, this wouldn't even be a trial. New Jersey is very strict. Um, and I think that this is kind of I'm sorry, I just think this is a waste of the people's time.
Well, I think that her purpose was to document what was happening. I don't know if the ulterior motive of a future TikTok post was part of the formula, but my sense is that that's what her purpose was in videoing what happened. As she continues on, people do strange things in given situations, and she may have been so caught up in what was happening and what she was witnessing that her reflex was just to continue to video rather than get on the phone and call 911. So I can understand why she did not go to the 911 route, because she was caught up in that moment of documenting what was happening. Now, if this was a state's witness, well, I tell you, just looking at this in isolation, they just presented the defense for Zach, and it'll be interesting to see what the outcome is in this trial.
Yeah, well, and that's a great point. And we're going to be exploring this a little more, because what kind of a witness is she going to be, right? You both know that, either side can, call any witness that they want in this case, but whether they're going to be cooperative, helpful, or, hostile, that is to be seen.
Uh-oh, is that the wife? That's Karen? Girl.
We're in New Jersey right now, where the wife of the man killed in the nasty neighbor stabbing trial is.
This is what it's called, the nasty neighbor stabbing trial. Oh my goodness. Okay, so did you guys see what Karen looked like? Hold on.
On the witness stand for the second day in a row. Her name is Tiffany Durham. She witnessed that altercation. And as a matter of fact, an argument between her and the defendant is what kind of led up to it. An argument that kind of culminated for the two of them when she says he hit her, smacked her in the face. And then the big brawl ensued where the defendant had a knife. Let's go into the.
Yeah, I mean, all bets are off if there's some smackations. This is nasty. That's why, like, I look, you cannot engage with neighbors. I mean, neighbors do not come and go. The only neighbors that come and go are renters, and you could have someone renting for 10 years. So you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not always going to be so lucky. Like my neighbor next door, she's been here for I think she was like did she buy her house? I don't know. Maybe she was 25 years. I don't know if she bought it new or bought it from a previous owner. But we have a neighbor across the street. He's been here. We moved in and literally he was like, at our house like a couple days later, just telling us how he, he's been here since day one. You know what I'm saying? Like these people, they want to get their position in the neighborhood. People want to tell you who they are, all this BS. People don't understand. Like, I'm the type of neighbor, I don't care and don't ring my bell. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a smile, I'm going to wave. We walk the neighborhood. We are friendly. If your dog comes through my yard, I'm going to figure out whose dog it is and I'm going to run them right to your house. If your Amazon package comes, I'm going to bring it to you. You know what I mean? I'm a nice neighbor. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to be friends and we're not going to be like drinking margaritas in the backyard. You understand? We're nice enough. Neighbors, it's a very interesting dichotomy with neighbors. It's good to be friendly, not too friendly. And sometimes my mom always told me not to even let neighbors in the house. Okay. And my mom is old school West Indian. She didn't believe in that. You're not letting the neighbors in the house unless they're friends. If they're friends, they're friends. If they're just neighbors, you talk to them outside. Okay.
The courtroom now, she's dealing with some very emotional stuff, having to recount for this jury what happened after her husband was stabbed. Let's watch.
Well, let's get back to court.
Eventually did, and
Girl, I can just see her. Do you know they called me Karen on TikTok? They got me in a Karen video on TikTok. Oh my sis. That should have been the least of your worries. The fact that they were watching this guy's social media was ridiculous. Now you're filling out damn death certificates and trying to cash in on insurance policy. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it really worth it getting your husband and your sons riled up because you had your feelings hurt over or it was bothersome because homie was revving his engines with his car? What's the big deal?
Let's arrive at your residence.
Yes.
Where was that ambulance located when it arrived?
The end of the driveway.
What happened after the ambulance got there?
They came with the stretcher.
What happened after they got up to the driveway with the stretcher?
They removed Timmy from the vehicle.
And where was Timmy placed?
Into the back of the ambulance.
What happened after Tim was placed in the back of the ambulance?
I went in the ambulance and gave them a report.
When you say gave them a report, what do you mean?
I gave the EMTs a report of what happened.
You don't care?
The findings that I had and the stab wound to the arm and under the armpit and then they asked me to leave.
What was your understanding as to where Timmy was going to be taken?
I was told he was being flown to Cooper.
And after you were told that he was being flown to Cooper,
Thank you.
after you were told he was being flown to Cooper, what was the next thing you were going to do?
My question is now, do you know if Timmy still, not Timmy, do you know if Zach has social media? That would be my question as Zach's lawyer. Are you familiar with Jack's current social media? And if she says, yes, I know he's got Facebook or whatever, I would be asking why. Why do you know about his Facebook? Why do you know about his Instagram? Why are you watching his new TikTok? Can you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would just be asking, ma'am, did you not bury your husband? Ma'am, they shut down his original TikTok. Now he's got a new TikTok. Who do you think reported to the state that he had a new TikTok? You think it was Karen and her two sons? Well, how would the busy district attorney know if they didn't tell him to not have social media, which they probably did not, and then he gets new social media. Now it's like, and he's got new social media and he's talking about the case. Who do you think tipped them off on that? This lady is trouble right here, and so are her sons. Absolutely ridiculous. Girl, lips gone.
I was trying to get the boys together.
Where were your boys at?
Okay.
They were
Virgo
being
doll,
held
I
for
see you.
questioning by the police.
At some point, did you see Gage or Billy there still at your house?
They were still there, yes, with the police.
What was your intention of doing with your boys at that point?
To bring them to be with their dad.
Where were you going to take them?
Well, they both had injuries. I wanted them to get checked, but they didn't need an ambulance. They weren't life-threatening injuries, so they were going to go and get checked, and I was going to go to Cooper.
Was anybody going to go with you to Cooper?
Yes.
Who was going to go with you?
My girlfriend was taking me to Cooper.
Who's your girlfriend?
Karen Galina.
Was she there at your house at that time?
She arrived, yes, later. She arrived to take me.
When in proximity to when your husband was taken away in the ambulance to when your girlfriend got there, about, can you estimate how much?
Okay, let me ask you a question to the person, Virgo doll. What happened? Chrissy says exposing my secret baby daddy, heartbreaking truth. So is she talking about that she's actually legit set 9x7 or what? Is she saying that girl interrupting this breaking news story? Is sis divulging that the cousin, that whole thing? Like what's the tea? Can you drop it in the chat, or can you hit that link and under the cover of your avatar or whatever, tell us what the tea is? Because girl, I hate watching some of these videos and it's like nothing but like a dud. It's nothing but like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna little known fact. I just, people love some strong mommy Chrissy, and let me tell you, like, people feel a way when you say stuff about strong. Well, not even say anything, like just react to a damn video. Is Virgo doll still here? Virgo doll, please report to the dance floor, sis. Hey, Virgo doll, what's the tea, sis? Like drop something. Okay. Okay, no, it's not the cousin. It's another man she was hooking up with who she was seeing during her marriage with the bum. Oh, Mr. Professional? Not Mr. Professional, but the married dude. So he's the father of Onyx. Like, duh. I'm not surprised. That really doesn't surprise me. So she's saying that's who Onyx's father is? Her baby daddy unalived himself, and the grandma doing a DNA test. Of which child? Is she saying Onyx? So is that the Fugazi story that she told us that didn't make sense some months ago, that she knew somebody who unalived himself? And because we were kind of like, girl, this doesn't make sense. Because she told us a story. Do you guys remember some months ago that was just kind of like, why are you coming with us to tell us about someone who unalived themselves and they're just supposedly a friend? You say he's just a friend, okay? Is that what was going on? To me, looking at Onyx, you can see Onyx and Blaze look nothing alike. Onyx, Blaze, and Junebug, all three kids do favor Chrissy, of course, because that's their mom. But all three of the kids, and they're all adorable, make no mistake. But clearly, there's some different fathers there. Chrissy is straight up whore. Okay, let me read this comment. And the streets are talking. Chrissy is straight up whore, LOL, and won't reveal which child, but the dates coincide with Onyx. I mean, me personally, I thought that, what's his damn name? Roderick Strangler Bay. Okay. Let's get back into this real quick. We're not going to run over there. Sis is trying to get her coins. Sis is going for Academy Award status. If she's going ahead and dropping her tea, she's not going to take that video down. And you know what I'm saying? Like, let's finish up with Karen and sis who got her husband into a whole. Now, somebody who said that sir shouldn't have social media, do you really think so? I mean, at the end of the day, if the judge did not order him to not have social media and he wants to talk about what's going on with him, why? You know what I mean? Guys, we got to look at the censorship that's going on in this world. And at the end of the day, if we need Big Brother to come and teach us how to behave, it's going to be a problem. Okay. People need to learn how to govern themselves accordingly. And I don't just mean Mr. Latham by his social media. I mean, these people who are trolling and looking to see what he's posting. You understand what I'm saying? If Zach is using his social media and they don't like it, don't fucking watch it. You know what I'm saying? How many times do I have to say reaction videos are about you? They are not for you. If Zach was not inviting them to come watch his social media, they shouldn't be bothered by it. If he bothers you, yeah, don't watch. You know what I'm saying? Don't look, don't partake, don't be on his TikTok, don't be on his Facebook, don't be on his Instagram. You know what I'm saying? We can't tap everybody on the hand because someone's doing something we don't like. So I think Zach did taunt these people to a certain degree by the revving of the engine, speeding down the block. His social media, if it was just his social media and that's his content, if his content is harassing these people, then he's wrong for that. But if his content was a byproduct, the byproduct of his content was these people being aggravated, that's their fucking problem and they need to not watch his social media. And when he comes down the block, call the police and register the complaints that he's disturbing the peace, and that and you notify your homeowners association if you have one. You know what I'm saying? What I was going to tell you guys, and I'm going to go react to Chrissy's video. I'll react to it. We can watch it. This is what I'm going to say. Look, we had a neighbor who lived next door to us at the old house. Okay. And the bitch was fucking crazy. Okay. And there was an incident probably almost a year. I don't want to say if it was a year, but, and I think I told you guys this before. I'm gonna be very sketchy on the details because sis is mad. Okay. And I don't mean mad like mad. I just mean mad crazy. Okay. Low key, I'm going to be honest, she was like coming for my husband. And I mean, coming for my husband in ways like she would just like all of a sudden randomly, like the police would show up at our house. Like, if he was outside washing his car and playing music, instead of saying, hey, neighbor, do you mind turning down the music? She just started like on some calling the police shit. Right. And my husband has a souped up Mustang and he's got a souped up old truck, right? Let me tell you what would happen when the police officers would come over, especially the ones that like cars. What kind of engine you got in there? They would talk to him about his engines. They would talk about the exhaust system. They would ask him to start up the cars. My husband is very cool, very sweet guy. And let me tell you something, what she meant to be a problem ended up being like not a problem. She ended up looking crazy. But one day, something happened and my husband comes in the house. He says, can you come outside? He said, because so-and-so's here and I'm not talking to her. And I was like, what's the problem? And he told me, she was saying something to him. And I was like, bitch, what's your fucking problem? I went outside like, what? I was pissed. Okay. And I cussed her all the way out. Okay. Like, relationship over. This woman was in the military. This is a woman who she would be gone for 6-9 months. I would watch her fucking cats. I would go regulate her temperature. I had a key to her house. I checked on her home. I don't know if she just ended up going like batshit crazy, but the only reason why I did not lay into her ass is because number one, I was like, the house is going up for sale next week when I called Whitney, our real estate agent, and I was like, we're done. We're out of here. Let's get this thing on the market. We were done. Okay. Anyway, sis, I called the police and they told her to leave us alone. And all of the documented phone calls that she had been making, meanwhile smiling in our faces, if you can believe it. She was a whole fucking Karen. And I was like, we're out of here. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I've been here for damn 14 years. This fucking bitch, I've been nothing but nice to her. And you're going to come for my husband who has been nothing but nice to you? Jump your car. You know what I'm saying? When she went, she had gone down to the border. I don't even want to say. She had gone down to Texas on military business, right? Anyway, long story short, she asked one of her associates from her from the Air Force to come and see about her cat. This numbskull lets her fucking cat out. And I told her, I said, why didn't you tell us you were leaving town? We could have just, we could have been doing this, because now you're calling to tell us that the cat has escaped and you're crying. But you were trying to be funny because obviously she felt a way about something, maybe something she thought we did. But she's she's not old, but she was like a fucking spinster. She had been married. Her relationship broke up after 2 years. She had been living alone ever since I'd lived there. She's single. Okay. Anyway, bitch was irate. Okay. And she calls us up telling us her cat is missing. And my husband goes trailing through the neighborhood and finds her cat and puts the cat back in the house. Like we were over here like making miracles happen for this hoe. Okay? And she had the nerve. Like we were like, she's nuts. And I told my husband, I said, you know what? We're out of here. We're out of here. I can't remember. I don't even think I vlogged. I remember mentioning something about it when I used to vlog. Very minor, very, very, because my point is when I was telling you guys, you never know when your neighbors are watching. Okay. I'm not one of these people who ever walked out the house with like a camera in my face, trying to give clues about what was going on over here. At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? But my point is this. It's just like when you're vlogging at work, you're vlogging at your desk. I told you that I had some YouTube streets weirdos try, on 2 occasions I had global ethics complaints to my job. That's why if you ever find me on LinkedIn, you're not going to know where I work. Why would I do that? I mean, it happened to me where people found out where I worked and they tried to sabotage my job, and that didn't work because I supported a level that, somebody calling, God only knows who it was, who probably could barely put a sentence together. Yeah, that was not going to have an effect on my job. However, after the investigations, and of course I was cleared, people felt like they thought that my stances on certain things were detrimental to the company. But when they investigated my YouTube channels and looked and saw what I was doing, they were like, you don't post on campus. You're not trashing coworkers. You're not trashing the company. But this is my point. You never know when your neighbors are watching. You never know when your coworkers are watching your social media, whether you have paid social media or not. This is my point, right? This guy in New Jersey, these people were watching. They were watching and they were in their feelings. Okay. It's okay, India girl. I love my new house. Do you understand me? We've been here for 3 years. It's so peaceful. Our neighbors are very nice, all of those things. But I'm telling you, like, keep a good distance. Like, keep your distance. Keep it cordial. But me personally, I don't make friends with neighbors like that. Like, even if I'm very friendly with you, it's gonna still be a certain amount of boundary, right? And at work, You should not tip people off to your social media because they are going to be in their feelings if they're trying to think that something is about them. I think my coworkers at my job were in their feelings because it wasn't about them. I think they probably knew I was talking shit about them on my YouTube channel, and I for sure wasn't. Because you know what I'm saying? Girl, people want to be a star in your life, and they're not. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my take on this whole nasty neighbor stabbing trial. But we will keep up on this. If you guys want to keep up on this video, I mean, we could finish watching this and watch Karen's testimony, aka Tiffany. But let me handle some things, and then I want to kind of skim through this Strong Mommy Chrissy video and see what's what. And then I will go live about it. It says I had a neighbor to try that with me. Let me tell you something. When my neighbor came for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can try me all you want, but when you come for mine, and I mean it, I lose my shit. Okay. And I did not like it at all. I don't even want to talk to, I don't even, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I respect, like, if they can feel however they want to feel about me, I better not see it online, but I'm also not looking for it online either. You understand what I'm saying? And I respect them. I would never talk bad about any of these people that live in my neighborhood because you know what? Um, we're gonna have to live together for a long time. Even though you live in a whole separate house, neighbor situations can get very uneasy. And my husband is a car enthusiast, and sometimes he is outside revving his engines, but he doesn't. It's not every day. It's not often. It's not I guess it's not annoying. We have a couple of car enthusiasts in our neighborhood, some big engine type car guys, you know, with vintagey type cars with loud engines. So I don't think it's really a problem. Not to mention I live in NASCAR country and it's not a problem here. But you know, sometimes you live in places. I've seen people say in the chat stuff like Bentley, yes, maybe yesterday, day before yesterday, someone said they would call the police if a dog was barking like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a dog owner. Now my dogs yap from time to time, but they never yap like that out in the outside. Um, but I'm thankful and grateful that I've got neighbors that, you know, are tolerant of dogs. I've never had an issue. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to live together for a long time. So when you start calling the police on people, neighbors, you really must be done. And it doesn't usually end well. And unfortunately for this New Jersey family, dad is gone. And Mr. Zachary Latham, I guess, is on trial, but I'm going to be interested to know how this pans out. Anyway, guys, let me handle some business. Um, and we will I'll see you guys over on Love Lies and Lace Fronts in a little bit. So let me get into this video so I can have an opinion, okay? And we'll probably watch like a little bit of it. But yeah, okay. Corey says, I have a neighbor who doesn't like me, but I told her a long time ago, get used to it. Is it get used to long time ago to get used to it because I'm not going anywhere. Needless to say, she is dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes, you know, people want to judge. And you know, okay, I don't want to say any. I've had a neighbor who I feel like, are you dumb, sir? Like, he's asked on, okay, let me see how I'm going to say it, because again, you never know who's watching. um we've had a neighbor once upon a time who loves to ask us, like, you know, like, I don't know what you do for a living. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to know what I do for a living, look me up on LinkedIn. That's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are weird. Okay. People are just weird. I don't want to say too much because that's, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to break any of my own rules. But guys, I'm just saying, be careful, you know, because people are always watching. Even if you don't think your social media is anything, sometimes we tell a little story and people are in their feelings. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Just, it's not worth it. Um, Oh my God, Tennessee. I would have yeah, awful. But you know what? Thank God it was only your cat, because people who are running around here deleting animals could very well delete a human. You know what I'm saying? So thank God that, you know what I'm saying? RIP to the kitty. Absolutely. Because you guys know, I am an animal lover. Now, I don't have cats anymore, but I had cats growing up, and I had a cat in college. My cat actually lived to be 21 years old from college. I brought my cat home from Houston, and he ended up staying with my parents until the day he died. Actually, he died in 2009. Okay. He lived for a very, very, well, no, was it even longer than that? Gosh. He lived to be, yeah, he lived oh, Jesus. 2009. Yeah, he lived almost 20 years. So let's say 19 years. Okay? Long, long time. But he ended up, his last 10 or so years he lived with my parents. My mom was like, just leave him here. We'll take him. Because when I came to Charlotte, I left him with my parents until I got my apartment and everything. And then when I came home, like whatever random holiday it was, to bring him back to Charlotte with me, my mom told me to get another cat. She was like, he's staying here. I have never had a problem with neighbors ever till this week. We mind our business and we expect them to mind. Well, don't expect them to mind their business. They're going to do what they do. You just mind your business and keep your good eye on them. You know what I'm saying? You cannot expect your neighbors to mind their own business. Because you know what? If someone decides to pull into your driveway that doesn't need to be there and want to clean your house out, it's good to have a nosy neighbor. I like to have good relationships with all my neighbors, and the little things that bother me, I put them in the grand scheme of things. Like, I got other shit to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, nosy neighbors are okay. Intrusive neighbors are a no-no. And don't let your neighbors in your business. That's all I'm saying. Don't show too much of the inside outside, because like I said, they, you know, okay. I've said enough. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for getting into some real talk bougie. I hope I got you guys caught up on some of the happenings. And if you're on the replay, don't forget to like this live. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to have your notifications set so that when I go live, post another video, you can be here. So if you're not familiar with my other channel, it's called Love Lies and Lace Fronts, where we do reactions, reviews, and commentary on the YouTube channels you love to watch. See how quickly I changed that? Go ahead and check it out. I will go check out Strong Mommy Chrissy's video, and I will get back to you guys, okay? All right, guys, have a good one. Thank you for joining me over here, and I will see you guys next time, okay? I don't have an outro, so I'm just going to be like, bye. Bye, Southside. Everyone who came through, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. And let me know how you like it over here. I try to just keep it not YouTube streets so much, but there's always going to be some bleed over, and I don't, you know what I mean? I don't mind. And Virgo Doll, thank you for dropping the TT in the chat. And I'm gonna need for you guys to, I know some of you guys are at work, but the ones of you who are not, sometimes call in. Call in. You can turn your camera off. Time scale, we have a Karen neighbor who harassed us because of a health condition. This demon had the nerve to say, I'm faking it. You know what I say? Fuck her. Okay. Look, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. But yeah, who cares? They may be mad because, let's say you live in a condo community and you've got handicap plates. You know what I'm like? People get mad over silly stuff, and let them. You know what I mean? Sometimes your sheer existence is bothersome to people. And I'm going to be honest, sometimes it's racial, sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it is sexist. It can be many different things that none of us have control over. You know what I mean? Do not let it get on your radar. Keep the peace at all costs, because if you love your home, don't let anybody trick you out your spot. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that's what people are doing. I wouldn't even let someone get close enough to transfer the energy of negativity to me to make me feel some type of way about this house and my neighborhood. But let me tell you something, when that bitch did what she did in the old neighborhood, I was done. I was done. I was done. And we were so happy to be gone. And I'm telling you, I took so much pleasure in the day that the pods were delivered, and the day, like our last week or so of being there, and we got our U-Haul truck and we pulled that big ass ginormous truck into, we got the biggest one they had. And we had 2 pods in the driveway. It was funny because I was still vlogging then. I was trying for you guys not to see the pods. And then there was a vlog with the for sale sign. And I didn't even tell you guys that the house was for sale at that time because I didn't want, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, you never know who's watching. And I just wasn't ready. I know, I did that whole series of us looking for a house. So I felt like it should have been quite obvious. But when we actually put the offer in on this house, if you guys remember, the people had turned down our offer initially, and they came back to us a few weeks later, but we had just lost a family member and we're going through all of that. But we found out that they wanted to accept our offer, and we ended up, we agreed to do a deal. And that was probably sometime after my birthday, but we closed by October 22nd. So they made us the offer after, it was somewhere like after my birthday, in September, and we closed on October 22nd. But it was a rough month for us. It was a very, very rough month. But I was so thankful and grateful because I would have been choking that woman. I would have, because just to know how we had supported her as a neighbor and how we had been there for her over the years with little to no return, and how sis turned on us made me, I really felt like there was some mental illness there. That's why I didn't lunge at her throat. But trust me, it crossed my mind, and because of that, we called good old Whitney, and Whitney got us up the hell out of there. And God was good, and the offer was then accepted because I guess the people were not getting the traffic that they thought they were. Even though, thank you God, since in the past 3 years the real estate has increased so much, the value, that this was probably one of the best investments I've ever made in my whole entire life. But anyway, we will talk about that another time. Anyway, guys, I love you guys. Have a great day. I'm going to shut this down, and we will get over to Love Lies and Lace Fronts sometime this evening. Okay. All right. Talk to you guys later. Take care.